We just might be living in the greatest era of all time when it comes to camera technology. Every camera system has a lens for anything your heart desires. Each system has a plethora of bodies to choose from, and each one of these modern bodies is better than the camera that your favorite 20th century photographer used in their heyday. But no matter what, no matter how good they get, everything seems to come down to autofocus. And while there's value to having fast, accurate autofocus, I think far too many people rely on it as a crutch because they don't trust their own abilities. And I've been there. I actively avoided even trying manual focus until like last year.
But nearly 1 year after trying manual focus and much of that exclusively using it, I'm ready to say that autofocus is overrated, and that I think you'll fall deeper in love with your photography if you begin to prioritize manual focus in your process.
Here's 3 reasons why. The first is the new level of engagement you'll find in your photography. While a great photo will always require qualities such as timing, composition, intentional exposure, and many other things that don't deal with focus necessarily, for a while, being able to nail focus was solely the responsibility of the photographer, not yours and an algorithm. There's something so fulfilling about nailing sharp, critical focus all on your own and knowing that it wasn't the result of motors and technology. Many people say that Fujifilm cameras, and Leica cameras for that matter, have a soul to them. And all I really think that means is that these camera bodies tend to have a coolness factor to them, but also with their unique dials in Fuji's case and manual rangefinder experience in Leica's, they allow you to more fully engage in the creative process. Knowing from top to bottom that you actively exhibited skill and understanding in crafting images that you're proud of, it's so much more fulfilling. Reason number 2 is the challenge of it. As many of you know, street photography and YouTube aren't all that I do. I'm a working photojournalist, I sell prints to organizations, and I also teach photography. Recently, I was on assignment covering a fundraiser/gala for Hispanic cultural gardens being built here in Cleveland. Everybody came out dressed their best, and it was so nice to see so many people together celebrating something that'll stand tall for them and their respective cultures. I was equipped with my Sigma 18-50 f2.8 and Voigtlander 23mm 1.2. But very early on, I noticed a problem. A, the 2.8 was not cutting it, and B is that I just wasn't having as much fun as I do when I'm using my Voigtlander out photographing in the streets. So I made an executive decision and put the Sigma away. I accepted that if I missed all of these photos, that not only is my position with this place in jeopardy, but also that if that happens, maybe I'm not as good as I think I am. The event itself was already fun, but photographing it in manual, that was a thrill. I had a blast doing this. I felt so much more engaged in everything that was going on, having to cycle through apertures, adjust my distance, adjust the other aspects of exposure. I was in the avatar state. I was fully involved, and that's one major quality that people want more of in their photography. I'm not saying that you can't challenge yourself on assignment or in any other aspect of the craft if you're using autofocus. But when shooting in manual, you sign a contract and you realize that you have to be on your A game for every photo. And if you come up short, you only have yourself to blame. But when you come up strong, man, does it feel good. Reason number 3 is no more autofocus errors. Raise your hand if your autofocus has ever hunted in low light, missed your target altogether, or been so slow that you wonder why you even have autofocus. Part of the reason why my Sigma wasn't cutting it that night was because it began to hunt in low light. Not only did the Voigtlander eliminate that variable entirely, but I had greater control in selectively choosing the subjects I wanted to focus on. This absolutely extends to street photography too. Who's ever used the zone focus autofocus setting at f8 and still had the lens hunt? It's infinitely subordinate to zone focusing with a manual lens. I say all of this to say, we all want to feel fully engaged in our photography. We want to test our skills, overcome challenges, and feel justified of the merits and achievements that we attain. I've used some of Fuji's best, Sigma's best, Sony's best, and no lens matches the level of satisfaction and achievement that I feel than when making photos using manual. While autofocus as fast as what we have now is an amazing achievement, as artists, some of us stand to be more fulfilled when we have greater control in our image making process. My name is Dorian Coleman, and thank you for watching.